we're now ready to start using some of these animations. So in this video, we're going to start setting up a blend space, a movement blend space. Now this is basically going to tell our character how to animate depending on how fast we're moving. If we're moving slowly, it'll animate a walk. If it's moving quickly, it'll animate the sprint. So these are nice and easy to set up. So I'm just going to go in my animations folder, right click, and I'm going to go to animation, and we're going to use a blend space, which you can see here. Make sure you select the correct skeleton, and I'm going to call this Beeps BS. So Beeps BS for Beeps blend space. And I'm going to open that up. Let's full screen that. So down here is the graph for this this blend space. It's nice and easy to use. We just need to set up these axes first. So up on our left side, can you see axes set in here? We're going to open up the horizontal axes, and we're going to open up the vertical axes. Now for this purpose, we're actually only going to use one of these axes, but we'll set it up just in case you want to use it in the future. So the horizontal axis is actually going to be called direction. The direction you're moving in. Now the minimum value for this is minus 180, and the maximum value is 180. So you've got 360 degrees to sort of work with there. We're going to leave that one. We're not going to use that one today, but it's there for the future. The one we are going to use is the vertical axis. So we're going to call this speed. The minimum value 0, that's fine. The maximum value. Now this is going to be completely dependent on your character. Now I believe the Unreal character, naturally, I think the maximum speed is around 500. In fact, let's check. Let's go check our Unreal character. Oh, actually, we haven't got one yet, so let's just check the third person one. Let's have a look. If we go over to the movement, we can see down here, there we go, max walk speed is 500 centimeters a second. That's perfect. That means the max it can run is 500 centimeters a second. So I know that that is the speed that I'm going to jog at, 500 centimeters a second. Now, depending on what you're doing, again, if you're making a really big character, then obviously the max walk speed for that character is going to be much, much higher. And likewise, vice versa, if you're making a very small character, then that max walk speed is likely going to be much smaller. So make sure that you know what your max walk speed is going to be first. This can be changed later, but obviously it's nicer to have it all set up and sync together. So I'm going to close that down. So I'm going to say maximum axis value here. Now while 500 is the maximum it can walk or run right now, I'm actually going to implement a sprint into my game as well. So when I press shift, I'm going to make it increase the maximum value. We'll say up to about 700. So I'm going to put 700 as my maximum axis value there. Once that's set up, we're ready to start adding the animations here. Now you can see on the right hand side you've got the animations. So let's start with the bottom. We're going to say idle. Let's grab idle and put it just down to the very bottom. Now just to make sure this is in the right place, I'm going to set the direction to 0, and I'm going to set the speed also to 0. So that's at the very bottom, just in front of this green X down the bottom there, if you can see that. Next I'm going to drag the jog in. Now I'm going to set the jog to be 500. So direction, we'll make sure you click on that actually, direction is going to be 0 and the speed is going to be 500. Perfect. Jump I'm not going to use, running and walking I am going to use. So let's get running, and I'm going to put running at the very top here, direction of 0 again, speed of 700. And then finally let's drag walking in, and that's going to be somewhere in the middle here. We'll say walk-in speed is going to be around about, let's say 250. Direction 0. Now I've set this up this way. Depending on how you've got your project and depending on your control maps, you may want to set it differently. I know potentially having your walk speed much lower or not having an idle speed sometimes is an option, depending on whether you've got controller support, because you don't want your character to be moving very slow while not moving out of that idle animation. So again, this is up to you, and you can set it to your preference here. Now we can test this. This little green X on the bottom, you see I'm moving it here, that little green X, if you hold control, you can move it. And what that will do, it will show you what animation you'll play when the values are those that you're hovering over on the graph. So direction's not going to matter. It's not going to do anything regardless of the direction I'm going. So that's fine. However, as I rise up the graph, as my speed increases, watch my animation. I'm moving up, and my character's slowly starting to walk. And now I've moved the X to around about 250. And now my character's walking. If I keep rising, here we go, he's going to start getting faster, and he goes into this jog. If I keep going all the way up, he's going to increase into this sprint. And that's the point in this blend space. Rather than just saying play a walking animation or play a jogging animation, this now says blend between these, hence blend space. You blend between running to sprinting to jogging, and it smoothly goes through each of them. It makes them look a lot more natural. So if you have got controller support, it's very noticeable then, it's very important for that as well. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to close it down. So once you've done the same, once your blend space is all set up, and that you've got your 4 animations in there, you're ready to move on to the next video.